When did you find out that Call Me Maybe was starting to blow up?
I mean, okay, so it shot up in Canada first.
Yeah.
And then it shot up in
just
America
radio play.
next.
It was just a radio song in Canada and just organically.
I was walking home from work one day and my sister texted me. I was working at Brown's Social House, which was like a little waitressing place, kind of, I don't know. Anyways, I was walking home and my sister texted me and she's like, "It's so funny. Did you see this?" And I was like, "What?" And I watched the video and I call her back and I'm like, "That's crazy. That boy who's just singing my song online looks exactly like Justin Bieber." And she's like, "You idiot. That is Justin Bieber." And that's when Lightning kind of hit the song from somewhere unexpected. And all of a sudden I was getting hit up left, right, and center. And the song slowly kind of just was getting more attention. And it was almost like I would watch it on iTunes and it would just like be jumping up the chart. It felt like every time we'd refresh it. And I felt really scared. I remember feeling scared more than excited because this was not part of the plan and I didn't know what was happening.
Tell me what happened to you in the immediate aftermath of that, because I mean there's a narrative which is that song became a worldwide hit. It was like 12 weeks on the US #1, Billboard charts. Song of the Summer 2012. I mean, massive global hit. It was everywhere. Did it feel like that to you? Was it like all of a sudden the world was like at your front doorstep wanting to, like, I don't know, work with you, get a piece of the action? I don't know. What was it? Was it crazy all overnight?
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like my experience versus like the world's experience of the song are very different things, because I mean, I'm living my one little life. So I would sometimes get like little pockets of realizing how it's sort of affecting other people or exploding in this way. But my job was sort of just to work on getting this next album out, try to handle for the first time ever new negotiations with management and labels, and just trying to do it all as intelligently as I could, considering the very little that I knew. Very early on, my thinking was, what comes after this? And how do I position myself in a place where I can have an established career beyond this song? Because this song is becoming its own little bit of a mammoth, and that's wonderful. But I want to be able to have a life of making music. So even though it was kind of wild and crazy, I was sort of thinking a couple of steps ahead of it with a bit of something resembling panic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Scooter Braun became your manager, Justin Bieber's manager, and, you became famous, really internationally famous very quickly, because there was a video and, your face was everywhere and people started to recognize you. At the same time, that song was different, was a different sound to what you had been doing and what you would eventually do. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but I wonder whether the expectation at that point was, okay, let's do 10 more Call Me Maybes. Like, let's just write a bunch, let's just get you with the right people and just crank out the hits.
Yeah, I think that this being one of the first pop songs that I had put out and having it work to such a degree was wild and exciting, but all the things you can imagine that go along with that, like, wow, what's the next move here? And I know that the label probably was thinking, do the same thing again twice, but I didn't necessarily feel that pressure at the time. I felt this excitement that had been like bubbling in me my whole life, that I had this opportunity and these resources now to finally get to put out an album with some support. And so to me, it was like I was a bit of a kid in the candy shop thinking, Max Martin, the Wizard of Oz, I get to meet him, or some of these people that they were putting before me. It was exciting, but it was it wasn't yet daunting. I was nervous, but I was still more, once I got my hands over into the studio, I started to feel and I don't know how to say this without sounding a little crazy, but I'm very unsure of myself in other areas of my life. But in terms of songwriting, I've always had this weird, almost bubble around myself of confidence in this one area. And I was determined to go in there and show, for lack of a better, what I could do in some of these rooms with some of these people, which I think was the wrong energy. Because when you walk into a room with some ego or some desire to prove, you're getting in the way of good songwriting. You're not really actually facilitating the song in any way. But I had a lot of learning to do, and I was new and I was fresh. And I think that the LA way for pop artists around this time, and I'm hopeful that it's changed, was very much like, you're here to sing the song. We'll give you some publishing, but we're going to write it and we're going to tell you what to sing. And so immediately I was met with this challenge to change the dynamic in the room, which made me fight even harder to prove, wait, I got something to say, and this is what I want the session and the day to be focused around.
If you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire episode, click right here.